Hello everyone, I'm Alfian and today we are going to solve the Hackerrank React topic challenge, and for the challenge it's called the code review feedback, and the description says your task is to create a React application called the code review feedback that tracks and manages feedback on various aspects of code quality. The component should have output and downvote functionality for each aspect, and it must meet all the specified requirements. So for this screenshot right here, we have like some kind of 5 cards, and for this part it's only one card or aspect, which is the readability, and we need to somehow, when we click the output button, then the output count will increase by 1, and also if we click the downvote button, then the downvote counter will also added by 1, but it's on desired card right here, or the desired category. And then for the initial value, everything must be on 0 value, and then the detailed requirements is right here. Let's jump right into the code, and we only have to edit the feedback system React component. And so for the first one, we can use the useState hook called the, let's use the vote and set vote, and then useState by pressing tab to automatically import the useState from the React component. And for the useState, we can simply add like an array of objects for the readability, and then stuff, performance, and so on and so forth. But that will be, and then that will takes a lot of time to manually add useState for every aspects one by one. So, and also we have to render this particular card component or this div tag for 5 times. We need to somehow map this to 5 cards. So let's make this into one useState aspect, which is the using the object called the readability category or aspect, and then we can use the name to render the actual name of the category or the aspect, which is the readability. Let me move this for a second. Readability, and then the upvote counter, which is 0, and then the downvote also 0, and then use comma because we are using the nested object inside the object. Then we can copy another object 5 times, and we can use an array later after I show you this with the object approach. And so we don't have to define the object category, for example performance, and then for the array, then we can directly use the array of objects like this for the readability, and then the performance, and so on and so forth. So let me show you the object approach first. Performance, can use Alt Control plus D to write multiple lines or variable security and then documentation. Don't forget to use the uppercase right here. And for the last one is testing. So we can make the useState compact right here by using the nested objects inside the object. And then for the trickiest part is using the function to update the float system, the float value, because we need to access the object and then access the nested object and then accessing the upvote property or downvote property. So we can use the arrow function of const update float that takes the, let's say, the category or the aspect or the aspect name, because we need to read either readability, performance, or some elements, and the aspect, and then the key of the float or float key. We can take either choosing either the upvote or the downvote by using the float key parameter right here. Don't forget it's an arrow function. And for the update float, we can use set float that takes the previous value with the arrow function. Since it's an object, then we can use another brackets and then wrap the object inside the brackets, and then let me full screen again, and then spread the previous value. So the spread operator will spread the previous value, so we can use it to update the previous value without directly mutating it. And then using the previous, and then choosing the aspect using the key like an array right here, and then aspect we're choosing it either the security, documentation, or testing. And then for inside the aspect, we can since we are accessing another object inside the object, then we can use the curly brackets right here, set the set aspect, and then spreading the previous value or the previous content of the aspect right here. We are spreading the name and the previous status of upvote and the previous status of downvote, and then preview and previous aspect right here. And then for the comma, for the next one, we are going to mutate or update the which key that we want to choose with either upvote or downvote. Then we can choose the float key that accepts the parameter here, either the upvote or the downvote, and this parameter will be accepting either the upvote string or the downvote string. And for the float key, we can use since the float key is not another object or it's an integer, then we can use the previous value without spreading it. Previous, and then previous that takes the aspect of the index aspect like an array, and then aspect after aspect, then we can use the float key. So the previous is like pointing out the previous object right here, and then for the aspect, then we are choosing the aspect either the readability, performance, or security. After we choosing, let's say we're choosing readability for the aspect, then this will be chosen. And then for the object like reading an array or the array content, the float key we are choosing the either up vote or the down vote, and then adding it by 1, either the up vote or the down vote. And then it's the update vote already completed, I hope so. And this function right here, without directly mutating, it's complicated for beginners like us. So let's move on to the next phase, which is the rendering phase, or the diff tag right here. Since it's a car, then we can render it 5 times using the curly brackets. Oh, I forgot to tell you that I'm choosing all of this card section, and then I'm pressing the Ctrl X to cut the content, and then we can use the curly brackets, so we can use the function inside the renderer return. So we can use the map to map, and then that takes the element for the map. If you know about a map function, that takes the element, and then the index, it's right here, it's like this. But since it's an object, then we can change the vote to the Object.entries vote that treats this vote object as an array that we can map right here without so for the element, we can destructure the element that takes with key and then the value of every iteration. So the mapping will be like this: map readability, and then performance, and then reading the security, and then iterating the documentation, and so on and so forth. And then for the key, we can take the key of the element, and then the value will be the aspect, or using the value to make it even easier. So this part is we are destructuring the actual element inside the vote, which is the key and the value pair, because it's an object. So then we can return and directly render this by using the parentheses, and directly pasting the div object or the card object, and then so it's already rendered properly, which is 5 cards. And then we can simply change the header 2 of the readability, change this by using this value and then choosing the name property. So it's already rendered properly. And then don't forget to change the button function by using this update vote that we already declared earlier, by using the onClick attribute of the button, upvote button, and then using this callback function, because we don't want this onClick button to trigger on render, but instead it's properly when we click on the either upvote or the downvote of every card. So by using update vote, and then that takes the parameter of the aspect and vote key. For the aspect, we can pass in the key, which is this aspect or this keys. And then for the second parameter, we can use either the upvote or downvote. Because it's an upvote button, then we can use upvote. Let's test this out. It's still not counting because we haven't declared the attribute value right here by using for the upvotes right here, this strong tag inside the strong tag, and then using this value since it's already mapped by the Object.entries for.map, then we can simply pass in the upvote. So it's already counting properly, but haven't rendered properly before, so it's now counting. And for the other aspects, it doesn't affect the other aspects. It's only affecting all cards. Okay, so it's working properly. We can use the same thing for the downvote. You might be wondering why I'm passing the upvote string unlike this key right here. It's because this function, the update vote function that takes the vote key, we can pass in as the string. If we pass in the upvote string, then it will point out to which vote key that we want to choose. In this case, the object also accepts the key value compared to the string, upvote string, either the upvote or the downvote. Then we can get the desired value and point it out right here, and then it will be incremented by 1 from the previous value. So that's why we are using the previous as the callback parameter right here. And so we can do the same thing to the downvote button. We can also apply the same thing to the downvote button by adding an onClick attribute right here. Instead of using the update vote, we can use the downvote. That takes the string right here, and then it will be pointing to the downvote property. So let's test out the downvote function right here from the button onClick. Okay, so it's working as expected, incrementing by 1 without affecting the other aspects. Okay, so it's now working properly. So let's run the code. Let's exit the full screen and run the test. So looks like it fails. And for I don't know what happened, because it should be working properly as the requirements right here, but I think this Hackerrank challenge has some kind of tester to test out the implementation that we already made here. Oh, I got one. So it's about the data -test ID. Maybe the data test ID of the upvote button 0 is being rendered multiple times because of the mapping function right here. and then maybe it got screwed up or it got confused, because why is the data test ID rendering multiple times with the value of 0 and then 0 again for the different cards. So let's change this by cutting the upvote hyphen button. Let's cut this. Instead of 0, then we can make it a variable value for the data test ID purpose. So for the data test ID, we need to implement some kind of template string by using these curly brackets right here, and then using the tile button or the tile key, and then passing in the $sign. Beside the $sign is the another curly brackets, and we are passing the index, because index starting from 0 from the index right here, and then the default map, because it has 5 elements, then the index will be starting from 0 and then mapping to 1 and then 2 and then until it hits 4 as the index, as the final value. So we need to paste right here inside the tile key right here, tile symbol, upvote button hyphen and then the index number, because it will be, and let me show you something for the update button. Update button, instead of 0 all the time, then it will be a variable number. Update button 0 and then update button 1 and then update button 2, because we are dynamically using the template string of the current index right here. And also we can do the same thing for the other data hyphen test ID attribute. Let's copy this data test ID, and then remember it's a downvote hyphen button and then hyphen the actual index downvote. And for another test ID, it's the upvote count, and then the index. And also for the data test ID of the downvote count, you can paste it, downvote count. So let's run this to see if it works. Okay, so it's now working properly. I want to show you another approach, which is by using a nested object inside the array of, let's say, array of objects. We can simply remove the key right here and then just use the object directly. Remove every key. For the last one, the testing key. And then for this curly brackets right here that defining the object, we can change this to an array. We redefine the comma right here to separate every object. So for the update vote, it's a little bit tricky. It's taking the aspect and vote key. We can change this to, instead of the aspect name, then we can use the index of the array, the index value, and then the index value will be used by this map right here that it's already defining the index as the callback parameter. We can leverage that later. So for the set vote, as usual, we take the previous value, and then for the previous value or the previous array, we can map the previous array, because it's an array, previous map that takes the object as the parameter. We're using another brackets of object and then the index, and then use the another arrow, implicitly return. Let's check if the index is equal to the, to minimize the confusion, instead of there are two indexes right here with the same name. One is for the parameter and one is for the parameter of the map. Then we can change the I to index. If I is strictly equal to index, if it is, let's move this to bottom. If it is, we are using the ternary operator. If the selected array is equals to the desired value right here from the index that it points out, then if it is, then we can spread out the object with the object, spreading the previous object. Why we are spreading the previous object inside the object, or the curly brackets? Because inside the array is an object, it's a form of object, and then to capture the previous value of the name and upvote and the previous state of the downvote, then we need to spread the object that from this parameter right here, from the first parameter. And since it's an object, then we can use another vote key to select or point out the key inside the object, which one that we need to change, either upvote or the downvote. Since we're using either upvote or downvote, then we can declare the vote key index right here, and then using the object that takes the previous value, either upvote or downvote, integer right here, object, and then the vote key of the previous value, and then add this by 1. If it's not the selected one after the mapping, then we can simply pass in the object of the previous value without directly updating it, unlike this one if it's true. So for the Object.entries.map, we can remove this because it's no longer an object, it's an array of objects. And then for this key value here from the destructured parameter, or the parameter, then we can pass in the element, or the element or object, you name it, and then we can take the element dot name. As simple as that for the header to tag. And then for the, let's leave it be for the upvote button, for the data-test ID, and then for the update vote, then we take the current index and change it's already on upvote, and also for the downvote, instead of key we are using the current index of the map. Looks like it's an error, value is not defined. for the value dot upvote or the value property. Then for the, because it's an element of the array, then we can use element upvote. And also for the downvote, we can use the element that takes the downvote property to be rendered right here. Let's re-render this to see if it works. Okay, so it's not affecting the others aspect or affecting the either the upvote or downvote. It's working as we want. Let's quit the full screen using the F11. So let's run the test and submit this. Okay, so that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you don't understand, please refer to the JavaScript or especially the React documentation. If you have any better solutions or if you have any more questions, you can ask me in the comment section. I will happily answer it. I hope you have a great day and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye.